good afternoon, Shop Handmade. It's that time of the week again for Meet the Maker. Sorry, things have been a bit quiet on the page today. Facebook seems to have eaten all my scheduled posts, so not sure where they've gone. But anyway, don't forget, if you're watching us, to drop a comment in so that we know you're here. Make sure you, up in one of the corners, tell StreamYard it's okay to share your name so we know who you are. And today with me, I've got Eimear from Stampin' Colour. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So let's just ease you into this gently. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, sort of not just your business, but about yourself, family, all sorts of things.
Like you said, my name is Eimear. I'm probably, as the more I talk, the more you'll realise that my accent is not local. I'm originally from Northern Ireland, County Down, Northern Ireland. I've been living in the Cotswolds for about coming up 15 years now, but I've lived all over. But I said originally from Northern Ireland. I have 4 kids ranging from the ages of 6 to 13, which keeps me very busy and on my toes. And I have 3 rescue dogs. We've had rescues before, but the last 3 came, I think the first one we got was in 2019 of these 3. And then the second one we fostered, and after a week we couldn't give them up. And then the third one we got last September.
And what are they?
They're Heinz 57s. They're little scruffy things.
Little scruffy mutleys.
Yeah.
As I call them. Oh, bless. So you rescued them from being sat in the shelter and stuff during COVID and all the lockdown.
Yeah, well, these 3 in particular, the rescues we had before were from here, from the UK, but these 3 in particular were from Romania.
I've seen quite a lot of that going on, people rescuing from Romania, so they actually bring them over.
Yeah, they've all got pretty sad histories from either being abandoned or just being found on the street. I know we have issues with dogs and cats unwanted here, but we're more of a dog-loving nation. They can be quite maybe cruel to them over there.
Yes.
They don't have maybe the history of neutering like we would.
Yeah.
So over there's rather a lot of strays, and they would be seen more as pests because there are so many. So yeah, they have history. They have a lot of baggage, but they're very, very loving. A lot.
And one of them was a foster failure.
One of them was a foster failure, yeah. It was my wee cutie. I couldn't give him up.
Bless. So what are 3 random things about yourself then?
Okay, I loved, well, prior to COVID and prior to kids, I suppose, as well, I love to travel. And I've been to some unusual places. I've done a lot of South America. And I think probably my most off the beaten track would have been Mongolia. I spent 3 months in Mongolia it's nearly 20 years ago. It was between jobs. I was made redundant from a job, and I went out to teach English for a few months. So that was really unusual, and one of the last few places that is totally unspoiled. And it was quite an experience. I loved it. What else? When I was a student, I did business and languages as a degree. And when I was a student in the school that I was doing my year out in France, myself and my friend from uni that I had gone out there with, we were both selected to be air hostesses for the summer. So we were, I know, it was quite funny. So we were for Air France for 3 months. Just for the summer months. They recruited, I don't know if they still do that sort of thing, but at the time they recruited holiday staff, and they went to the local kind of universities and business schools in the Paris area and probably down to our languages, we were selected to be cabin crew. It's only short haul, so it wasn't really very far. But
I was going to say, did you go very far, or was it just sort of short haul?
It was short. Well, Europe, and North Africa. So I think we had a night, or we didn't travel together, but I had a couple of nights in Tel Aviv. We did quite a lot of stopovers in London, which was handy for me because I knew lots of people in London. So it was great to meet up with friends. But mostly if you were staying over, it was because you were doing the last flight there and the first flight out. So it wasn't as exotic as it sounds, but it was still great fun. And like 21 years old, being in the cabin crew, it was brilliant. And what was my third thing? Yes, I love stripes, as you can probably tell. There's not often you won't find me wearing stripes, so I don't think that's something that you wouldn't know about me if you visually saw me. Mostly you see my hands when I'm doing tutorials, so you can't always see what I'm wearing.
Yes,
but I love stripes. I love a good stripe.
So how did you first start your business? Tell us a bit about your journey with that.
Well, I have liked paper crafts for a long time. I'd never thought of getting it any further than just enjoying paper crafts. But I'm a demonstrator for Stampin' Up, and I met someone from Stampin' Up at a pamper night a charity pamper night that my friend was organising about 8 years ago, and I just fell in love with the products because everything is very much coordinated. So I had been what I would have called a bargain bucket crafter, whereas I love to go and I couldn't resist a bargain. If something was 50p or 50p off, I'd have that's a great bargain. But you'd come home and you'd have lots of things, but nothing really went together. And maybe the pink didn't really look right with the blue, but with Stampin' Up and the products they sell, they do coordinate with colour families, and you have like cardstock that matches the paper, that matches the ribbon, that matches the ink, you can make a really good project very easily, I find anyway. So when I saw what Stampin' Up carried, I fell in love, and I kind of, a bit like Tesco, I thought, why pay more? It made more sense to sign up than to buy at catalogue price. So I signed up, and it was actually my husband that encouraged me, as my collection was growing at an exponential rate. He had decided that perhaps I should move out to the garage. Our garage in the house we previously lived in had been a playroom for it had been a music studio for the previous owners, and so it was carpeted and it had installation and stuff. So he had sort of said, well, why don't you run classes? And I thought, yeah, why not? So it kind of went from there. He did it up. We kind of needed a bit of a new carpet. Whilst it was carpet, it wasn't great carpet. So he did it up for me, and I started running classes from there. So mainly my business is more the classes. I do sell what I make at the odd craft, well, when we have craft fairs.
Yes.
But I do more maybe commissions for friends and family, or but mostly it's classes that I run. And that's all gone online since about last April, May. I think I thought, okay, this is going to go on a bit longer than the first 3-week period we were given. So I turned everything online. And I run my classes online now, either I have a private customer group on Facebook, or I do Zoom classes. So either or, depending.
And how did you find that switch?
It was a learning curve. Yeah, it was a learning curve, but I think certainly at the beginning, I had always wanted to go a little bit online, but I think this was maybe the push that I needed. And I probably maybe had more of an audience that was maybe more accepting of it, because we couldn't go online.
There wasn't a lot of choice.
Yeah, if you wanted to craft and you wanted to craft with people, you had to do it online, because you couldn't physically meet up anymore. So I think it was a learning curve, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I did do the learning to find the ways to go online, because I do enjoy it now. And I think for my quick classes, I probably wouldn't return to the physical events. Physical events, that's the wrong word, but the in-person events. My larger, longer classes, of course, because it's the community as well as just the crafting. And but for the short classes, because I have people not necessarily just local as you would have in an in-person class, I have people joining in from all over. The online has been great for that.
So it has actually, I guess, helped you expand.
Yes. Yeah. I have people that I maybe knew here, or their friends and family that have lived, further afield, and have then been able to join on where they would never have been able to before because they were just too far away. Yeah.
So, there are some, whilst COVID has been horrendous, there has been there's also been some real positives, because I've met a huge amount of people online that I'd have never met in person.
Yes, definitely. And I think also you're more, more open online now than you would have been. I probably wouldn't have been so social online.
Yeah.
I think I'm discovering the real social side of social media, whereas maybe I was a lurker. I'm engaging with people because I couldn't do it any other way.
Well, yes. So what things do you think you enjoy most about running your business?
I think one of the greatest pleasures is if someone that hasn't done any paper crafting before, and they suddenly, they make something and they're like, oh, I made that. Watching them experience that it's priceless. I still remember one particular, I used to run a cards and a cuppa class, which is now my weekly class online, but I used to do it as a real class, and someone coming who had never made anything before. And it was a really simple card, because when it is outside of my craft room and in another premises, it's obviously difficult to bring everything with you, and you are having people who have never paper crafted before, so you want to make it not too daunting. So it was a simple project, but she made it and she was so thrilled with it. And she said, she was like, can I take a photograph of you? And she went, oh yes, I'm so proud of it, look. And that,
oh bless, yes,
bottle that up and keep it for a rainy day, because it's lovely. So I think that's the bit I love the most.
And I think that's one of the beauties about Stampin' Up, isn't it? Is because paper crafting, it's generally easier to come up with a finished project fairly quickly anyway, but because everything coordinates, you don't have to spend all that time deciding which colour card you're going to go with and all the rest of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's the coordination is brilliant with them, because it does, you'll have they call it DSP, or we call it DSP, which is designer series paper, like pattern paper, but the colours that they use match their inks and match their cardstock, so it looks very well put together quite easily.
Yeah. So let's have a look-see at some of those things you've got lurking to show us.
Okay, well, I will show you, I'll give you an example of what one of my classes would be like. So this is, the way I run my monthly classes, I call it Cards in a Cuppa, because it used to be my physical event that I then moved online. And I changed it slightly because when I ran the in-person classes, people would come and they would use my products. So my products would be sitting in a basket on the table, and they would make the cards using everything that was in the basket. Yeah. But obviously when everyone was at home, they wouldn't necessarily have what I had. So I changed it that the stamp set that we would use came as part of the class fee.
Yeah.
And basically what I did was you would buy the stamp set and I would give you 8 projects to make with the stamp set as part of the fee. So you're only buying the stamp set, and then you make 8 cards, and everything that you need to make the cards is cut and prepped for you. So, for example, and then we're not sure. I think this will be the right way around, judging from my little thing.
Oh yes.
So this was last. Whoop, that way.
That's it.
So that's last month's card class used this stamp set. There is a matching punch, which would punch out the dragonfly. Some people bought it, some people didn't, but that was the stamp set. So these are 3 of the cards that we did make. So I'll just show you quickly. Oop, keep forgetting. So there's one like that. So I would have given you the card base, the paper, all the little pieces, and you would put that together. With this particular class, it would be assumed that you would be a crafter already and have products of your own at home. I do another event where you don't need so much. So there's another one.
Oh, that was gorgeous. That's beautiful.
And then here's another one.
Well, that's a bit different. That's different.
Okay,
it's quite simple, that one.
So they're sort of on the more simpler. I like to do one little bit of a different one. So just to show you kind of what you would get. So you would get all the bits in here that you would need. Oh, that way.
That's it.
So they're all cut and they're all ready for you to make the card. And then this is one that we made that was a little bit different. And it looks a lot more complicated than it is. Oh, that way.
Oh, yes.
That smells like an easel card, but it is much easier than it looks. So it folds down flat. I like things that all fit in normal envelopes. You don't like the funny ones that you have to get different envelopes for.
See, I've seen similar to that. Do you know the little calendars?
Yeah.
Like we used to make calendars at school with.
You see, I think that's what it is. I think that's why we love this. It's a little bit of us stayed in school and we just want to get the crayons back out again.
Yeah.
We want that time after lunch just with the crayons.
But yeah, those with the little calendar on and stuff, they're so cute, and they're really nice gifts and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just peeping around and looking at your stash. So you're very organised then. That's all your inks and stamps and
yeah, then those are these are what we would call our in-colour inks. We have inks that last, they're kind of more on trend, if you like, the colours, and they last with us for 2 years. And then these ones would be our staple colours that stay with us a lot longer. Every so often they do a bit of a colour refresh and maybe move out of 2 or 3 colours, but mostly that's our staple colours. And these last for about 2 years. And then that would be all my next class, the class that I continually sort of run. So I run my classes on a Friday on Facebook, Friday lunchtime, and then I repeat it on a Sunday morning. So for people maybe that work, they can't make a Friday, they can come to the Sunday class. And so I keep all my kind of current kind of class stuff in there. And little embellishments and stuff down there.
And your ink pads, it's like what I'd consider an ink pad, just that sort of size, but you do the little diddy ones as well, don't you?
Where can I show you? So this is something that we launched on the 1st of June. I can show you that. So this is for anyone who hasn't crafted before and would like to have a go, but doesn't have all the supplies. Or also it's for people who are paper crafters, but just want something they can take with them, and everything's in the box. So forgetting which way to go. So this is a kit. And it comes with, you have all the instructions ready in the middle. So it shows you exactly what you need, or how to make them. I've only made 2 out of the kit so far. So they're more of a masculine card.
Hi, Kelly. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Kelly. Here's a little Father's Day card.
Cards.
And they come with the little ink spots that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So with this kit, you get everything. You get a block. You get, let me just find where the stamp set is.
So the block is the thing you stick the actual stamps on, isn't it?
Yes, and just, yeah. So that would be an acrylic block.
One of those.
Yeah. And the stamp set I must have taken out. Apologies for that. I can't see it in the box. Oh no, it's here, sorry. It is here. So you get a stamp set. This one, let me put something behind it so you can see it a bit better. Find something. There, you can see that a bit better. So it'll have the stamp set in that way. In it, you have a block. Then you have all the elements, a bit like what I would show you that I would send you to make a card in my class. It has everything in there. So it has card bases, it's envelopes, you know, they're not pre-lines, all cut, scored. You have little sort of element things that you punch out. They're die cut already, and then you pop them out and stamp on them. So those are really good for new crafters, new paper crafters, or if you were, they make great gifts as well. They're perfect. Like, I hate buying children plastic cat. We have great kits that, you know, they can send their thank you cards. They can write to grandma. They can, you know, send a birthday card to Auntie Jane or whatever. They've got, you know, and it's them creative time. So I love kits. I think they're brilliant. But yeah, those contain the little ink spots. I think we do a little selection of ink spots as well. Our catalogue just changed there at the beginning of June, so I'm trying to think, are they still active or not? I can't remember. And then our normal ink pads are this size.
And how long do they last? Or do you how long do they last, or are they re-inkable?
Depends how much you use them, but yes, this up here. Whoop. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, you can get little ink refills. But some of them, and I've been a demonstrator for 8 years, so I would have bought, and I signed up pretty immediately. So some of my ink pads are 8 years old, and I haven't re-inked them. Now, that's not to say they would really last 8 years. It depends on the colour. Some I have because I've used one colour more than others. It just depends, really. But no, they do last quite a while. But again, it depends on use.
Yeah, I mean, last time I did stamping, it was, most of the stamps were on bits of wood with a picture of the stamp on top of it.
In fact, we only just stopped using wood mount stamps. Some people still, like, you'd be able to get the same stamp set in wood or red rubber. Like, so these ones from that dragonfly set are the red rubber stamps. But you mount them on clear blocks. And we used to do the wood mount stamps, but we've stopped that now. So we do red rubber, and then that's the clear ones, the photopolymer as well. We do 2 types of stamps now.
And it always used to be, was it, your ink pads are best stored upside down unless it's, and there was a particular one that if you stored that one upside down, it made a mess.
Not sure what that one would be, actually. It might be the white. But our ink pads, they are sort of, they're stored upside down already.
Oh,
they are upside down.
It's all sorted for you. Yes.
And then you open them like a compact, kind of, and slide them in.
So, which of your projects do you think you're the most proud of?
That was a tough one for me because most of the things I make, I send away. So I was thinking, oh, I really wish I had that one, but I literally just posted it. I made a really lovely one for my aunt, which she wanted to send to someone else. It was an 80th birthday card, and it was I love little quirky openings, like that little easel card that I showed you.
Yes.
So this was called a twist and pop, but I had made elements to do with this particular person's life. There was something to do with his university, his sports, his travel, and it was a really good one, but I posted it today, so I can't show you it. But so I'll show you another little one. Just I love quirky things, quirky folds.
Yeah.
I don't do them that often in my classes, but this is a little teepee card.
Oh,
So it's, I keep forgetting which way to go.
that's clever. Oh, and I see. And when you undo the ribbon,
it fits into a normal envelope. That's why I love things that are quirky, but not so quirky that they're really odd.
or that you have to pay extra postage on.
Yes, I know. I am fond of dimensionals, which are, the little foam pads.
Yeah.
I have to try and keep to one layer and not use two, otherwise it's large letter territory. And also all our products can be used in scrapbooking.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you a scrapbook page. Do that. This is trying to get the glare away.
And that's it.
Yeah. So that was my parents' wedding photograph. But just using this as like a die, and then just we've got some embossing over here and some vellum here. Yeah. But just so I don't get enough time to do scrapbooking, but I do like it when I get the chance.
So I guess it's all acid free and all the rest of it, so it doesn't damage your photos.
Yeah.
And so do you think you've sort of developed a style as you've gone along? Do you think things have changed much since you started?
Yes, I think if I would have looked back to cards I made a long time ago, it would be, but then trends change too. So even if you look back at projects in our catalogues from 8 years ago, they do look dated. Yeah. But I don't know what, I know I do have a style. I know there are things I'm attracted to more than others, but I wouldn't know how to verbalize what my style is.
So it's not like me and Kelly then. If it's purple and got sparkles on it, then
well, I do like a bit of sparkle, but it's probably subtle sparkle. I do like my bling. You always got to have a bit of bling, and bling is very useful for covering smudges and things. There are no mistakes in crafting, only opportunities for embellishment.
Absolutely, or design features.
I like that one.
So do you do any other crafting apart from your cards?
Not a lot. I used to knit, but I haven't knit anything since the kids were tiny. Really probably knitting, as it was the only other craft I had. I like baking, making cakes, but as my husband used to keep saying, since you've got really into this crafting, it's annoying because we can't eat paper. I don't make enough buns anymore. But I like baking. I wouldn't say knitting is a current. I tried crochet. I could never do crochet. I just thought,
once you get the hang of it,
but I couldn't get it. A friend of mine tried to teach me, and it just couldn't get it.
If we can ever meet up, we will have a coffee at Dobby's, and I will bring along a hook and some yarn and show you.
Might hold you to that. For Ellen tried. Didn't work. But I didn't practice enough. I think that was my problem.
And it's also what you start with and what you try.
Yeah.
Because I've done crochet for years, but to be honest, I tend to only crochet squares.
Right.
And then if I'm doing anything, and I knit more than I crochet, so
it's much easier. I wasn't very good at the putting together, though, the sewing it up. It looked a bit rough around the edges. The knitting bit was good, just not the.
Or if you're knitting socks, I need to learn to knit 2 socks in one go, because I get bored, and then you run the risk of having odd socks. lots of mismatching socks. So you do all your crafting in your room where you are now, do you?
Yeah, mostly, yeah. Occasionally I'll take bits if I'm just punching something or preparing for classes. I'll take things with me and sit in with, but I've got a TV here, and my son usually joins me because he has his PlayStation, so I'm never alone.
Apart from when you lock the door on them.
Right now.
So, money's no object. You can have whatever you want. What would be top of your crafty wish list?
Well, I thought about this question, and I thought it's not quite, it's kind of cheating. This is not really the answer you're asking for, but it's something money can't buy. It's time. I would love time, uninterrupted time to do all the things I want to do, to make all the crafty wish list would be, I want to make this, 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 and this, but I feel I'm always snatching moments of time. And then
yes,
the inevitable messy death, because, oh gosh, it's time to go and pick up the kids, and you have to run, and you come back, and it's, oh, look at the day.
Yes. No, I see what you mean.
Uninterrupted time.
Mm-hmm. Which I should
do all the things.
You don't get much off.
No, not with 4 kids and 3 dogs.
So, what do you do with yourself when you're not crafting? Apart from manage 4 kids, 3 dogs, a husband.
That pretty much that, manage the 4. Mainly, I think I'm a taxi, was to the endless activities, to the swimming, the dancing, the ferrying them, because we live kind of out in the countryside, so most things are more time based. So I think I'm mainly a taxi when I'm not crafting. And then of course it's the learning all these technological things that I've had to in the last year. So it's reading a lot of kind of research, and I did think when I started just crafting classes, well, all I'd be doing would be crafting, but no, it's kind of learning how to sort of promote yourself and sell what you're doing and try and get your name out there so that more people get to share in the love of crafting or get to join the classes, and they won't find out about you unless you tell people.
And actually that stuff can take longer than actually sitting down and making something.
Yeah, it can do.
So okay, so Kelly, are you still with us? Do you want to come on live with us and ask any questions? Anything you'd like to have a particular look at? While we're waiting for the delay for her to answer, we can carry on chatting. So you do more stamping and things than you do die cutting and all the rest of it then with what you do?
No, I think most projects would include a bit of both, because a lot of our dies match the stamps. So you can stamp something, and of course any crafting tool is, none of it's a have to have. I think every crafting tool just makes your crafting life easier and quicker. So of course you could use scissors and cut it out, but you have to, yeah.
Yes, so something I'm going
really tiny, you would be just as quick cutting it out, but it's easier in most cases to just cut things out with the dies. So
I thought I'd have something to hand to show you there. So as you know, I've ordered some bits and pieces, and I need to talk to you more because I've ordered my die and my pretty paper, but I'm like, okay, so what cards do I stick it on now?
Oh, your pretty paper is very pretty.
Yes,
so
but
I knew that you got that one off your wish list.
Yes, but what I'm planning to do is, I don't know if you've seen, I make little brooches out of cashmere.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yes, they're little dinky ones. They're made from upcycled cashmere, and I thought I had one on the table, but I haven't. I've actually put it away. And the reason I've been looking at the dies and the cards, I'm thinking, well, if I get a card and then I could stick the brooch on the card, and they're not very deep, they're only about that deep, so it would be large letter territory, but I'm thinking, well, that could be the card and gift in one, so you could have a flowery background and then a bigger flower stuck on it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And again, and also because I cut by hand, thinking about, well, actually, because fabric can go through the die cutting machines, I can cut my leaves and my petals and everything out before I sew it all together. So that's why I've been looking at dies and things like this, but it's finding the right ones, because I'd love to do some butterflies, and I did look at the butterfly die and I thought, is that going to do what I want it to do? Because I might have, yeah. So I'm like, yes, I like the shape, but then where you get like the shapes and the lines over it, I'm like, is that the die cut, or is that a stamp, and things like that.
We'll have to have a play together.
We will do. Well, it doesn't look like anybody's got any questions for us, so somebody else has just popped on again. Do say hi. I'm sure it's not just Kelly that's watching us. Let's try and have a look at some of our fun, these are our fun quick questions. So tea or coffee?
Coffee. Well, coffee in the morning and tea maybe later, but definitely coffee first thing.
Netflix or audiobooks?
I have to say Netflix.
Is it in there with you? Do you have it in your on the telly in there with you as well? Neutrals or brights?
That's hard. That is hard. Probably neutrals.
Okay.
I don't know if that's really accurate.
Make for yourself.
True.
Make for yourself or for someone else?
Someone else.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Okay. So you like this really hot weather we've been having then?
I'm one of those people, you know, you see those memes on Facebook and Instagram or wherever that, you know, people in a totally knitted kind of onesie. That's kind of,
yes.
I'm always freezing. I'm always really cold. So yes, I need heat.
Whereas but me, the only reason I've actually put a sweatshirt on is because I've had all the doors open since Hopperstate this morning, and I've only got a vest top on and was getting cold.
I'm permanently freezing.
So
they're running around in shorts and t-shirts going, Mum, come on, it's warm.
Yeah.
It's not warm. It's 16 degrees. 16 degrees is not warm. 26 degrees is warm. 16 is not warm. That's still hoodie territory.
So here's a bit of a fun one for you. I'm not sure if you, I don't think you saw it. I popped up on the Shop Handmade page the other day. It was, you can choose only one, and it was all these different chocolate bars.
Oh, okay.
And you can only choose one. Now, we have to ignore Angela, who's one of our madmins, that said, well, can she just not have everything that's got Cadbury on it? So, out of the chocolate bars that you can remember, which do you think came top of our list? Do you want me to read some names out?
Okay.
So
this is not my choice. This is what I think would be general.
What you think the general? There's quite a long list here, but Star Bar, Boost, Dairy Milk, Crunchy, Whisper, Kit Kat Chunky, Dime, Curly Whirly. Oh, I love a Curly Twix, Snickers, Flake, Caramel, Blue Bounty and Red Bounty. I haven't seen a Red Bounty for ages. Double Decker, Topic, Yorkie, Ripple, Mars Bar, Mintiero. What else have they got on there? Some of these are repeated. Cadbury's Twirl, Picnic, Cream Egg, or Turkish Delight.
This is what the top.
Yeah, so it was people could choose out of those. And what do you think most people voted for?
I'm going to go for a plain old dairy milk.
Nearly, yeah. Not quite. Not quite.
The second choice.
What would your second choice be?
I would have thought the flake. No.
Would you believe it was Yorkie? So Cadbury's didn't win anything.
Oh.
But yeah, you can't go wrong with a good old dairy milk, can you?
Yeah, yeah. I just thought it would be a plain. I thought everything else has got something that somebody wouldn't like. So it's like, oh, I don't like the caramel, or I don't like the nuts, or I don't like this. So I thought plain old chocolate might, and I thought flake might, because it might remind you of a 99.
Thanks, Kelly. Are you in the shop then? Yeah, come and watch the replay. We're nearly done anyway. So Kelly's having to leave us, and actually it's more or less time for us to go. So thank you very much for joining me. Now, next week is going to be slightly different. I've got a gap on Tuesday. So if anybody does want to do Meet the Maker with me on Tuesday, then do drop a comment or drop me a message and I can get you booked in. If not, I shall probably come live and talk about whatever crafting I've been up to. And then on Thursday, we've got Yasmin with us, who does this wonderful stuff with polymer clay, and she makes all these swirly beads and everything with them. So that will be next Thursday. When we've finished, Eimear will pop all her links into the comments. So if you want to go and have a look at her website or go and join her stamping group, or I think you're even on YouTube, aren't you?
I'm everywhere. I'm Instagram, I'm YouTube, I'm a blog.
So that will all be there for you shortly. Don't forget, if you're watching us on replay, hashtag sorry I missed you, and I will see you next week. So thank you, and bye to everyone that's watching.
Bye.